Coach, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We for a minute we thought that you were Mike DeVries. We are like, oh,
We left his name up there in case I say something dumb. Everybody will think it's
like
him.
Coach, I mean, no doubt we're looking at this team too, and it's going to be a very competitive MVAC. And looking at the team, you guys got some talent returning. Obviously, some guys departing. Kyle Shockley being the biggest one. We know he's over at Kent Tuscawaras. But what are some of the big names that you expect to be on this team this year, and some of the younger guys that you think are going to get some significant minutes?
Yeah, well, obviously Luke Simons was a starter for us last year. Averaged about 13 points a game. He's probably going to be our number one scorer. And Navarro Hassan, he started every game as a sophomore last year, and he's really improved. We're looking for him to score a lot this year. And we have a couple of juniors, Anthony Potagil and Ryan Wise, who probably will be stepping into the starting lineup. Kind of undersized, but Anthony can really shoot it, and for Ryan's size, he rebounds the basketball pretty well. So we think, with those two added to the starting lineup, we have a chance to be pretty competitive.
Coach, after every season, coaches kind of watch the tape of all their games and try to compile a list of things they can improve on or things they want to grow on with. What are some things that you watched from last year and you kind of took the players that are coming back and said, these are some things we want to work on before this season kind of starts?
Yeah, for us, I think it's movement without the basketball. Over the past couple years, we had guys that, like Kyle, who could break you down off the dribble, and we kind of got stuck watching him a lot. And we don't have that guy this year, that can just break you down when things aren't going well and go get you a basket. So I think for us, moving without the basketball is going to be a big key so we can get everybody involved.
Looking at this Scarlet Tier 2 of the MVAC, I think there's no doubt that it's going to be a gauntlet to try to navigate through. So looking at your schedule, talk to me about how you think this is going to fare out with your boys and what the team kind of needs to do. You kind of hinted on it a little bit, but what the team needs to do to get a piece of that MVAC crown at the end of the season.
Sure. I think, for us, it's going to be getting off to a good start. We're going to be playing a lot of inexperienced guys who aren't used to playing at the varsity basketball level. And I think getting off to a good start, getting some wins early in the year against, some pretty good non-conference teams before you get into that conference play will be huge for us. Obviously, looking at our league, Springfield they return a lot of kids, and they're probably the favorite going into the year. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be tough to, compete night in and night out and get a share of that title.
Then when you look at the non-conference schedule and the teams that you'll be playing outside of that MVAC Scarlet Tier, who are some teams that pop up, and how well do you think this schedule will prepare you for the end of the season come tournament time?
Yeah, we were supposed to open with Garrettsville Garfield. That game got pushed back to the end of December because of their playoff run in football. But so now we open with Wyndham on November 30, and Marty Hill's teams are always well coached and prepared. So that's going to be a tough opener at their place. And then we pretty much play the entire PTC, Mogador, Ritztown, Southeast, Lake Center Christian. So our non-league schedule isn't, there's no gimmies in any of our non-league games looking at the schedule. So, we're going to have to be ready to compete on night one and, every night going forward.
Out of those younger guys, you talk about Luke Simons, you talk about Al Hassan, and you know what? I seeing both of these players too last year, I thought they were very good raw talent wise, and I think Al Hassan especially was a very good passer, very good shooter for what he was able to do as a sophomore. Talk to me a little bit about the growth that you've seen from these guys over the course of the summer, and what's kind of impressed you most about their growth and the team's growth in particular.
Yeah, for both of them, it's kind of a change. They've been, like last year, they were the second, third, fourth guys on our team scoring wise. And this year they're going to have to step up and be 1 and 2. Looking at Luke, he's always had the talent to go get you 20 points a night. And now he's going to have to do that on a consistent basis for us. With Navarre, he played a role on the team last year where he didn't have to be the man. And watching him over the summer and so far in the season, he's really stepped into a leadership role, and his skill set is really good for, a junior. And I really think we're going to get big things out of Navarre this season.
Coach, Ty knows more than anybody probably at YSN how much the Waterloo community loves their basketball. How excited are you to kind of welcome back all the fans and be able to feed off that crowd in that Waterloo gym?
Yeah, everybody's ready for basketball season, that's for sure. I got introduced as the volleyball coach during a game, so I think everybody's pretty ready for basketball. But it'll be nice having people back in the stands and, let our kids get to showcase their talents a little bit in front of people. We didn't have that last year, and kids kind of feed off of that energy that the people bring. And without it, it was kind of weird last season not having that energy in the gym. So I think our kids are really excited to have people back, have the student section back in the gym.
I've always said the culture of Waterloo is so unique too, and their love for basketball and those teams is out of this world. And Coach, talk to me a little bit about the culture of the team too, as we've talked with Coach DeVries before too, and he says that these boys are different too, and the culture of Waterloo, boys and girls, is different. So talk to me a little bit about the culture of the team and what it means to be a Viking at the end of the day.
Yeah, the kids kind of buy into what we're selling. And we went through some rough years here, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I think over the past few seasons, having some successes really kind of brought some of that culture back into the program. The kids want to be in the gym. When the football team decided to play 2 regular season games, after week 10, the football kids pretty much were coming to basketball, trying to stay in shape for those last 2 weeks of football, but also get themselves prepared for the start of the season. And, I don't want to say that we haven't missed a beat, but the kids are excited to be back. And, they talk a lot about getting back to a district championship and competing to win championships. And I think that goes a long ways for your program when you're talking with younger kids and they're kind of already starting to buy into that.
Coach, we always ask what coaches want to teach their players, and I'm sure we'll probably ask that as this interview goes on. But I want to know what kind of things over the years have coaching students at this level taught you and helped you grow in as a person?
Yeah, I think commitment, first and foremost. The winter sports seasons are really long, and you have to practice on some days that other sports probably wouldn't have to. So for us, we talk a lot about commitment and responsibility, and how that leads to when you get out of high school, the commitment, responsibility when you get into the real world and have to start dealing with things on your own. So I think that's probably where we start is just the commitment it takes to play, high school basketball.
Looking at what your staff brings to the table too, I know Waterloo always gets some of the best people on their staffs as well. So I want to give you the opportunity to shout out your assistants and some of those big proponents, as well as second part of the question, one of those things that you guys try to teach your student athletes that is outside the world of basketball.
Yeah, John Herchek was a coach here. He was my head coach when I was in high school. And he was the head coach here for maybe like 34 years, something along those lines. So he brings a lot of experience to the coaching staff. And when he decided to come back to Waterloo as my assistant, it was, one of the best days I've had as a coach. Just the commitment that he makes to being here every day and the sacrifices that he makes outside of the gym so he can be here every day. I think that goes a long ways when you're talking about the things we just talked about, the commitment and responsibility part of it. Just having his consistency here is huge for me and the kids. And Caleb Francis, who was a great player for us a couple years back, is going to be our JV coach this year. And he does a great job with the kids. He has a lot more patience than I do when it comes to trying to teach the kids how to play and get them ready to play varsity basketball. and he's young enough that he can have a relationship with those kids. I hear him talk all the time that they play video games together online every night. So that's a big help, having a kid that can have those types of relationships with the kids outside of basketball, and the kids really enjoy having him around. As far as outside of the gym, we do try to teach them about the real world and what it's going to be like when you graduate, and not to waste your time in high school. Wish your time in high school away, I guess I should say, because there's going to come a point where you're going to wish you were still back in high school and had the high school athletics. And I think our kids kind of understand that, and they do push themselves to be successful because of what's going to come after high school.
Coach, thank you so much for your time today and helping us kind of preview Waterloo's boys basketball season. We look forward to covering you all year, and we know that we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.